So what I'm really interested in kind of learning about today is I like your approach. You're doing things naturally, right? And I wanted to get your story and kind of figure out like, what made you stick to that path and what motivates you to, live this lifestyle, compete naturally, that kind of stuff. So, yeah, I just kind of want to get your backstory if you want to start there.
Yeah,
My
yeah,
first question was share your journey into natural
yeah.
bodybuilding. What inspired you? What got you
Well,
going?
I first started training when I was 16 for mostly because I played baseball and basketball. That was my goal to be like a college athlete, and then all of a sudden I just started getting into lifting, and I was like, oh, I like this way more than I do actually the sports. And I got recruited to play D2 baseball, and my first week of college, I decided that I liked the gym way more than I actually liked the sport and the practice. So my buddies and I, we'd finish like our baseball game in our senior year of high school, and then we'd go right to the gym and see who could bench 225 the most after. Like that, like we all love being in the gym. And then it started progressing to watching the documentaries and watching and look. And I was always into bodybuilding. Like even when I was a kid, like I'd be at the supermarket with my parents when I was younger, and I would grab a magazine off that had Jay or Ronnie on it, and all these flex magazines. And I started learning the guys, and I was obsessed with like the social media aspect of it and those guys. And once I quit playing baseball in college, I fully committed to, hey, I want to do this social media thing and eventually compete as a natural bodybuilder. It was never a thing that I wanted to go down the enhanced route. I was never, that's the right thing or the wrong thing. It was just, I was making progress, and I was like, you know what? This is the route I'm going to take.
Mhm.
And in those first years, I gained a ton of size. And I'm 6'2". I'm long and lanky, and I was a skinny kid growing up. And once I started actually taking it serious and adding the size, then I was like, oh, maybe it's time to compete. And then when I decided to finally compete, this was when I actually first reached out to John, because John was my mentor through YouTube. I didn't have a mentor through, like, in my gyms, I would see the big guys and I was like, they don't really know what they're talking about. This doesn't make sense to me. And then John's stuff always resonated with me very well. So I was like, let me just reach out to him. And I started getting a little social media following at the time because I was doing funny videos and sports videos. And I was like, who am I? And now I'm looking back at it, I'm like, why was I, as a first time competitor, reaching out to John Meadows, who was a top trainer, doing having 5 or 6 guys in the Olympia? Why am I reaching out to him? And he answered me within like 5 minutes.
Wow.
And he was like, I would love, he's like, I love your physique. I would love to coach you. But like, I have Olympia guys. And it was an easy way of putting me down. And I was like, why did I decide to do that? Looking back at it now. But back then I was like, I don't know. I love learning from this guy. Let me see if I could pay him to prep me for my first show. And then the idea of competing just, it took a little while still for me to like be like, oh, I'm big enough, because I didn't know what competitions there were. I had friends that did competitions that were older than me, and they were doing NPC, and I had no idea that. I was like, if they're that weight and that size, I'm not even close to that. And then I learned about the natural route when I started talking to some guys. I learned about the OCB, the AMBF, and I signed up. And this was after I was already on board with Granite, and so I was looking to find out a coach. Like, I've been training for like 6, 7 years at this point, and I'm looking to see who's gonna help me out. And I reached out to actually Andrew Berry, who's one of the athletes there,
Mhm.
and we worked for about a month together. And I was like having horrible stomach issues. Not like before we even started working, I was having horrible stomach issues, and I'm like, this is not gonna work for me as a competitor. And it started fixing like when we started working together, because he had me on a really strict meal plan. I've never been on a meal plan before. I was on strictly macros and just tracking it as best as possible. And Andrew actually set me up very nicely. And I was like, maybe this hardcore bodybuilding stuff is you follow a meal plan and you follow a training plan. And I didn't know this as a 19 or 20-year-old. And then I wound up just telling Andrew, hey, this isn't going to be for me this time. And when I'm ready, I'll reach out or whatever. And then I was like, you know what? Let me try this myself and cut down to a certain weight and see how I look. And as I got closer, I was like, oh, I'm starting to look okay. and I actually got a local guy to help me out for the first show only in the last like 6 weeks. And I got on stage and I loved it.
Okay.
And the competition part, besides like the tanning and all that, like it was the doing the whole process to get to that stage, which was worth it.
Mm-hmm.
And it was the journey of living every day like Groundhog Day, and it's fun, man. Living Groundhog Day every day, it's fun. And I did the first show. I placed 4th overall, and I was hooked after. And the guys in front of me looked a lot better, even though. And I was like, I have something to strive for now. I thought that, I'm not gaining muscle as fast as the other people, and the natural route's going to be slow, but that's the fun of it. And then last year was my second competition season, which I thought, you know what, I'm going to take it really serious. And I hired Justin Randall, who's a Granite athlete as well. And he introduced me to what bodybuilding actually was. He gave me the plan. We worked for about a year and a couple months together. So we had the off season together, and I stuck to every single meal to a T, exactly how he said it. And finally realized, like, this is bodybuilding. This is what it is.
Awesome.
Stuck to that plan. Always did John's training through these. Even Andrew was a big component. He was like, dude, what are you training right now? And I said, I'm running John's program, whatever. But get this program, run this.
Mm-hmm.
Like everybody like really had faith in John's programs for training, which is what I live by. And to this day, still what I train by. And then when I got to, and me and Justin had a perfect prep. I hit every single meal, looked my best, and we placed second. I only did one show for that summer because my wife and I got married. I actually prepped through my my wedding and everything. But listen, I don't drink or anything, so it was like it wasn't a big change.
Did you bring the scale to the reception?
Actually, he gave me off that day, which was good because
that's good.
We were still like 12 weeks out or whatever, so it was good. I got to enjoy my wedding. I actually we did a little mini honeymoon at an all-inclusive in Jamaica after, and we were still so far out that he was like, "Oh, just try to stay on the plan as best as possible." So I brought the scale. We knew every single time. It was just like I was going to the bar the guy knew every morning. I was having the 2 eggs and 10 egg whites. He was making me an omelet every morning. Same guy, no oils, nothing. Then I would go get the shrimp and rice and the chicken and rice and whatever we were doing. And I stuck to that. No weight change or anything. And that was fun for the first honeymoon. But then my real honeymoon was in the summertime after the show. So I knew I was going to shut it down after that.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually was able to do all 3 divisions because that AMBF lets you cross over.
Okay.
So I got second in men's physique, which was my first time competing. I actually bought the board shorts the night before.
Wow.
And I always practiced posing, so that was easy. That came pretty easily to me. Classic, which I thought was my best division. I got 3rd overall. And then open bodybuilding, which was a huge step up for me, got 2nd overall. And
awesome.
All it was great. I was 1 spot away from getting a pro card. I shut it down after that. And now we're at the point now where I need to gain size because every show I've been in so far, I've been one of the taller guys. And as a natural, it's hard. It takes a lot of time. You can see even in the IFBB, it's the taller guys have trouble.
Mm-hmm.
They do.
Mm-hmm. So
filling out the physique is hard.
So how long from maybe like once the newbie gains stopped to now, like how long have you been training?
This is year 10 right now.
Oh wow, okay.
This is year 10.
So at year 10, are you still seeing progress? Are you still feeling like, what does that look like?
This is the natural bodybuilding curse right here, is that you don't see week-to-week progress anymore. Yeah. I've written my own programs for this off season where I did like a top set, back off set, which is a pretty much standard program, and then like progress the weights every week. And then all of a sudden I don't hit the weight for 2 weeks, and I'm like, oh, am I getting smaller? But then I look at myself in the mirror, and that's really how you have to track yourself. Mm-hmm. It's, are you in the bulking season? And if you're, I don't really like using bulking. Are you in the gaining phase where you're not in pre-contest? You need to stay in that surplus, but you can't wreck your digestion. Mm-hmm. And just pound food as a natural. That's honestly what I've found. And I'm pretty good with food, but I feel like there's some days that you don't want to eat at all, especially in the growing phase, and it could set you back as a natural. And you've got to be able to recover from the training, which I feel like at naturals, I see kids in the gym, and some of them are probably even on the slide that I talk to at the gym, that I see them doing 15 sets for a body part in a workout, and they think that's like the low end, and then they'll do 25 sets and they'll do 30 sets, and they're not really understanding the intensity part of it. That's just what we love about like John's programs. Like he'll torch you to a point where you want to go home. Like I remember I was training with one of my high school kid. He's a football player. He might even be in here. And we did one of John's chest days or leg days or something. And he was looking at me. He's like, "We need to go home." And like he was like, "Yo, we need to get out of here. This is." And then during his leg day, you'll do a set of hack squats, think you're done, and he'll be like, "All right, we're doing plates on a leg press, ascending sets of 20 until you can't get any more, and you get up to 7 plates, and you're literally about to throw up."
Oh yeah.
And you know it's working.
Yeah.
Like, you know John's stuff, it works. And it's just recovering from that as a natural is the big thing. Like you see people that get his, I always tell people to get his programs. They're like, "Why can't I do this 6 days a week?" I'm like, "Try it. See what happens. See how you're going to sleep after 6 days of doing it." Because he writes on his programs, for cycles with elite recovery. Natural guys are not cycles with elite recovery.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm sorry. There's none, that maybe 1 in a million, but like you need to recover, and that's what being natural. It's the hardest part, but you just gotta be in fine tune with your body. And I follow one of obviously you know it from Granite, Chris Edmonds. He's one of my mentors now as a coach. I talk to Chris. I DM him all the time. Anytime I have a question now, I feel like he is the perfect explanation of what hard work does in bodybuilding. Because guys, like I don't have perfect genetics. He doesn't have perfect genetics, and it's just the work ethic that has to take over that spot.
Yeah,
and he does. And if you ever watch like his day in the life, this guy wakes up and he'll stretch for 20 minutes. His training sessions are perfect. His meals are always laid out. He'll never miss a meal. And that's like kind of what you have to live by. If you want to be a successful natural bodybuilder and you don't have great genetics, which I don't, you got to beat people by your work you're putting in. And I'm a teacher, so every single day it's Groundhog Day. My kids laugh at me every single day. They know 8 a.m. I'm ripping out a container of chicken and rice regardless. That's my off period. My first off period, I'm always having a chicken and rice meal. Lunchtime, I'm having a chicken and rice meal. When I get home, it's the same thing every day. Before bed, I'm having either a shake or oats or something, and it's all to a T. Right now in the off season, I'm keeping it clean bodybuilding meals, but I'm just tracking it by the day, and you just got to check off the boxes every single day. That's really what it takes as a natural bodybuilder. You can't slack in any certain way.
100%. You were talking a little bit about recovery and like how you're following John's plans. I'm curious, do you have to tweak anything because like it's the intensity so high and you're just not recovering fast enough, so you maybe spread it out more, or what does that look like for you?
So honestly, as a kid, I'm assuming you were probably the same way. Most high school kids that start lifting, you're doing way too much volume because you just love being in the gym and you're killing it every single day. But like now that I'm 27 now, I'm getting old. I'm not old, but I'm getting older, that I realize that the 5 days a week, 4 or 5 days a week is enough when you're doing the right intensity. So basically what I take John's programs right now, I just finished 12 weeks of pain and suffering, which is one of my favorite programs. It's only 4 days a week.
Okay.
And people were like, "You're only training 4 days a week and you're out of there in like an hour and 15 minutes. I'm like, yeah, if you do one workout, you will realize why I'm only in there 4 days a week. And honestly, I've been holding a pretty standard like 210 when I wake up, which is pretty high for me, and not bad body fat, which is what I kind of want to do. And I feel like John's programs, having that extra recovery, does it. And right now I just started Odin Force, which is a push-pull legs, which I haven't done push-pull legs since my first prep. He had me on Creeping Death 2, which is John's most famous program. Creeping Death 2 it was 6 days a week, but 3 days are pump, 3 days are heavy.
Okay.
And Odin Force, how it separates you, you hit every body part 3 times every 2 weeks, which is perfect. I think perfect time to recover, and you can do intense and still have intensity because he mixes in like pump days and stuff. But it's so easy. I just feel like everybody needs a program, because there's those days that you've had, I've had, every single lifter has had, where you're like just going through the motions. You had a rough day at work, you had a long day, and you're like, I'm gonna just do some calves and go home. But then if you have that program, you literally can see, all right, John wants me to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Am I gonna let him down, or am I gonna do this program that he wrote?
Mm-hmm.
Like, he did
Mm-hmm.
it this day. Why can't I do it this day? Like, you don't have to do the weights as crazy, but do the program. Like, it's written out to you. That's why I encourage everybody to actually get a program.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's bust that myth right now then. Your training doesn't look any different than somebody that's enhanced. Like, you can do the same stuff and you can like use the same intensity. Maybe your recovery is not going to be quite as fast, but for the most part, you're doing the same thing, right?
Oh, I will go hand. I would think that naturals that actually train hard, I think they can hang with enhanced guys in
Mm-hmm.
training. Definitely, I could bring the intensity on set. Maybe not as much volume as them. Like, maybe they got one more set in the tank that could be to full capacity.
Mm-hmm.
But as long as you're getting out of there and you're doing the right things after, obviously your intensity, it's within you. If you wanna give that effort, you can do that,
Mm-hmm.
no matter what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Excellent. Um, so let's switch gears a little bit. As a natural athlete, what does your supplementation look like? Are you using a ton of supplements? Just a few? What does that look like?
So, um, what I'm using probably the most I've had now, obviously being with Granite and everything. But even in the past, I was a big component back when BCA and EAAs were popular. I thought that was the key.
Mm-hmm.
I was using, like, when I first started lifting, I remember Rich Piano was a big influence back then. I was using his supplement back then, and then I don't know if it was placebo or whatever, but when I switched to Granite, I honestly felt the I don't know how to explain it, the clean performance from Granite, and that's
Mm-hmm.
what most people say. It's like clean energy from the pre-workouts. So right now, basically how my day works is I'll do protein. Obviously, I'm using throughout the day. I can use one scoop and a half in the morning, or a scoop and a half at night. Majority of the time, it's 3 scoops a day, with the 1.5 in one meal, 1.5 in another. Then my shake in the mornings, I do the greens every morning, the Vital Greens, which I've always done. I've always done that because I don't eat enough greens.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big thing. I hate preparing them. I hate storing them. I don't think vegetables should be stored for the week like you store your rice or you store your chicken or whatever. So I'll do the Vital Greens in the morning with 2 scoops of glutamine, 2 scoops of creatine. I actually upped the creatine recently. I was listening. I think I was actually listening to Chris when he was like, 5 grams a day is for like women that are like 130 pounds. And I was like, you know what? Maybe 5 grams is for everybody. And I'm 210 pounds and looking to gain as much muscle as humanly
Yeah.
possible as a natural. So let's up it to 10 grams. And honestly, I told you I've been holding a solid weight. It's not my peak weight. I was 220 before the last day, but holding 210 and feeling good is a big win. So I'll do the 2 scoops of that. Pre-workout, I'll mix between the NeuroStim and GX, half scoop both times,
Okay.
and then I'll always do a full heaping scoop of Vaso.
Okay.
I used to do, and if I train in the morning, which I started training in the morning recently. We're having a baby this year, this summer, so
Congrats.
I'm trying to, thank you. We're having a boy this summer. I'm trying to practice getting that early morning
Yeah.
routine done, so I'm going before work some days, which is good. I love it. I love training in the morning. I'm just
Good.
getting the routine down of when to have a meal, what sits with me good in the morning. So I've been mixing around with that, but I always do the Vaso. And during workout, I have not missed recovery one time in the last 3 years. I swear by it. And those people that say, "Oh, I didn't feel anything," it takes time for you using recovery to actually feel it.
Mm-hmm.
There's a reason why I'm able to train again the next day. It's because I use recovery every single day. And
Yeah.
I recently introduced the HBCD powder, which is just the carb powder, just for extra fuel during the workout and extra calories on the day. That came out during prep last year. Honestly, while I'm prepping, the last couple weeks you pull out the EAAs and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But honestly, I kept it very simple with that. I'm starting the collagen soon, just to see what result. Like, as a natural, you're not gonna have anything that's gonna propel you to get to that that range. I used, this is what Andrew Berry taught me. This is by True Nutrition, which is, I know John was very close with the people there. I know he had products with True Nutrition before Granite. It's called Abolic. It was like anabolic agent, the kind that kept you full as a natural. It was a testosterone support. Don't know if it works, not. I felt a lot better on it, so I did run that for the entirety of prep. But during the off season, I'm eating enough calories that I'm hoping my testosterone holds at the normal
Yeah,
range.
yeah,
But
yeah. What are you?
yeah, I don't know if I'm missing anything. No.
What are
Yeah,
your calories looking like right now?
I honestly keep it at 4,000 right now most of the time, and this is, you can read it on every single one of John's programs. He writes like a name of a person. He's like, this is what your starting point is. And honestly, I've been staying at that because I love it.
Yeah.
It's 250 protein, which is the weight. Obviously, it's way over my weight, which I'm getting enough protein. 100 fat and 525 carb or 500 carb around there. And I don't really, I'll cut the carbs in half on off days. That's what I've been doing recently. I learned that from a couple, like Chris talks about that all the time, that you kind of want to be hungry on your off days as long as you're in the surplus for the week. Because my digestion gets wrecked if I'm pounding food and not training and not shuttling it anywhere. And with cardio, I honestly not avoid it, but I don't do it because I'm getting at least 14K steps a day at work. So it's,
Oh wow. Okay.
yeah, I'm a phys ed teacher, so it's nice and easy. I get to stay on my feet all day, and doing that after you eat a meal has been huge for digestion.
Okay.
Keeping a walk,
Cool.
Keeping active while you're right after you eat. It's huge. Do not sit after you have like a big meal, especially when you're in the gaining phase. You have to shuttle that stuff somewhere.
Yeah, I feel you 100%. That's exactly how I am. Is it a chore to get the 4,000 in? Like, I don't get that many.
No,
That seems like a lot.
There's some days. There's some days. Not when you're. The thing is that I could tell people that are listening that want to up their calories, you got to get up early.
Okay.
That's the thing.
You start like immediately when you wake up.
The days. I think it was like 2 days ago. I trained at 6 before work. I have a gym right by my job. A really like a nice bodybuilding gym. It's like exclusive. You can go in. You'd be the only one there, and I go down there, train for an hour, get out, and I am ravenously hungry after I just had a meal to start. So I got that first meal in at like 5.
Nice.
And now it's 8 o'clock and I'm ready for, it's 7 o'clock. I'm ready for chicken and rice. Nice big plate of that. And then you move around for the day, whatever. 11 o'clock comes every 3 hours. And then all of a sudden you're still up at 8:30, 9 o'clock at night. And you're like, oh, I could have a shake with oats and a banana. And that's an extra 300, 400 calories you can get at the end of the day. And you'll still be feeling okay. The worst was when we were really pounding food last year, and I was like scarfing down that ground beef meal at 9 o'clock at night, and then laying down and just like, oh, because we really were pushing food last year to try to see what it could do.
Yeah.
But I was getting a little too fluffy, and honestly, as a natural, the performance is the key.
Yeah.
And you can't be sluggish. And there are days right now when I am pushing food, like today especially. Like I had the meal a little later because we had a game at school today. Got pushed back an hour. I got to go do legs today, and I was kind of like still really full, and it takes some time to just like get through that. So just meal timing and starting early. It's really key to getting all that food in there in the day.
Makes sense.
And being prepared, yeah. And as long as you're getting 5 to 6, I think you're good. I don't really like piggybacking meals. Like I hate like the kids that are like, oh, I got to the end of the day, I'm 80 grams of protein short and 150 carb and 30 fat. So I'm going to have this, and this. I don't like piggybacking that. Like, just spread that out and stay up a little later, if anything. But I really don't like wasting sleep. And sleep is the key, especially that. Like, we're in bed every night by 8:30, 9 o'clock.
Oof. That's perfect.
You have to be. It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen once the baby's here, but we'll get used to it now.
Take advantage.
Yeah.
I'm curious. So, are there any like common misconceptions that people kind of have about you as a natural bodybuilder or as natural bodybuilders in general, or like myths that you've heard that just get under your skin because they're so ridiculous?
One thing is that you're not really bodybuilders, and anybody that's an actual real bodybuilder realizes that, oh, they're smaller because they're natural, like they're still doing the same things. And like I said, I have tons of friends that are competing in the NPC and IFBB and are taking the enhanced route. But the real, like, they don't look down on you unless you don't train hard. I can't stand people that are on social media. That social media blows my mind sometimes. That first off, like the people that lie about their natural status, I can't stand that. That's the first thing.
Yeah.
People that lie and say that, oh, you can do this by buying my program and you're using your fake natty status to buy that. No, that's rule number one.
Fair.
But I don't like that they don't train hard, because I mean, there are obviously guys that don't train hard, and there's guys that train hard, and in the enhanced route there's guys that don't train hard and guys that train hard.
Mm-hmm.
And when it comes down to it, that's what bodybuilding is. Like, you're going on stage for 5 minutes. It's that doesn't mean anything. And genetics are the number one component.
Yeah.
I can't stress that enough. You're not gonna outwork genetics when the genetics is doing at least the bare minimum.
Yeah. Yeah.
There are guys
No,
on
makes
stage
sense.
that have competed against me that are in their mid 30s and early 40s that look ridiculous, and there were guys on that are 20 that look ridiculous. Like, it's your genetics.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you got to put a little bit of work in. But I just don't want them thinking like, oh, they don't train hard, because I've seen some guys that you would never know that are firefighters and cops that come into the gym I go to in the morning, don't say a word to anybody, they don't have any social media, anything, and they just train as hard as possible. They're dying, and then they leave. Mm-hmm. And they've been doing it, and they're in their 50s. Mm-hmm. And they're obviously natural, like, that's one of the biggest misconceptions. I understand that, and that they're not bodybuilders. You know, like, we're not full on bodybuilders like the IFBB. Like, nobody's paying $60 for a stream unless your family member's in it.
Yeah.
Like, I follow open guys. I love the IFBB. I love watching bodybuilding shows, but nobody's putting butts in the seats like
yeah.
that. You know?
That's true.
It's fun. Like, the shows are fun. There's 30, 40, 50 competitors, like, at some of the shows I was at, and all their families there, and it's a packed house. It's still very fun. And backstage, it's straight camaraderie.
Yeah.
Because everybody knows what you did to get there. But that's what I really love about the sport.
Yeah.
That's one of the number one things. I've made some good relationships with some guys backstage that you can see that they have the same. They know what you did to get here, and they did the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense. All right. So, like, what have been some of your biggest challenges when it comes to bodybuilding? And then, like, how do you work around that? You know, what are your tricks and tips for whatever about this bodybuilding thing is hardest for you?
Yeah. I can say, honestly, the preparation sometimes is the hardest. And I feel like that's the case for a lot of people. And
like meal prep?
Not even meal prepping, because cooking chicken and rice and stuff is 20 minutes. It's kind of planning your day around bodybuilding. And I know everybody does it during prep. Everyone does it. Mm-hmm. Like, I know me, I'm sitting before I go to bed every night. I know I'm going to have meals 1, 2, 3, 4 in my bag for work. And I know that I'm going to be able to eat them here and there. And it's getting through those roadblocks. Like, there's going to be sometimes, especially in the off season, you got to just take a chill pill and you guys can go and get food at some place, but it doesn't have to be a cheap meal. Like, there's so many places around here that it's, especially in New York where I am, that you can find the right thing. Mm-hmm. You don't have to go to, and Chipotle is not the answer. But it's better than you going to McDonald's and getting 2 quarter pounders. Like, mm-hmm. you gotta work your way around that. And that's what tracking macros is good, I think, in the off season, but keeping it bodybuilding meal centric. Preparation is number one. Knowing when you're going to train each day. Like, I know a lot of people have busy schedules. That's going to be the first thing you think about when you wake up, is kind of like, when are my meals are going to be, and when am I going to train, and am I going to get home at a decent hour to go to sleep? If you keep that, I think that is number one. And I struggle with that, and I feel like a lot of people do. It's just getting that routine down, and your life is going to get in the way sometimes, and you just got to pivot and get through it.
Yeah. Yeah, makes sense. Same for me. I hear
you.
Yeah,
it's the most popular. Like, listen, we all have jobs. We're not full time. There's people that are full time. I'm sure that are full time bodybuilders and influencers that miss meals too. Like, things get in the way.
Yeah.
but you gotta pivot and make the most of it, and don't stress over you missing one meal, but don't let it happen again.
Right.
That's learning to live with that. That's a huge thing, especially for naturals. I don't think I think you could probably count the workouts I've missed on one hand or two hands in the 10 years that I've been training. I've been in the gym every day.
Wow.
Are all of them balls to the wall, amazing? Nope.
Yeah.
There's gonna be days you slack, but at least you got in there.
Mm-hmm.
Like now, I'm trying to shift my mentality to when I step foot in the gym, this hour is going to be for me to achieve a goal, and this is what me like having the baby and stuff on the way is really making me think about is when I'm away from him, I need to be achieving something, not looking at my phone in the gym or this or that, and actually locking in for that hour, getting out, calling it a day. Like that's it. And then leaving the gym behind, focused on my other outside of life. And that's a huge thing too for people to understand is don't make it your everything.
Mm-hmm.
It's like there's like some kids that are itching and scratching to get in the gym every day. Like, oh my God, it's an off day, I'm getting smaller. No.
Yeah.
I took off for now. I didn't take off, but I went to hotel gyms for my 2 weeks on my honeymoon. I came back looking better. Like, you're not going to lose size in a week and a half. So when you get out and when you get sick, don't think you're getting small. I know everybody in the head, you're on your phone. You're like, oh my God, a motivational video came up. I need to get to the gym. I only have sniffle. I only have a fever. I only have this. Just take it easy, recover, and then get back. Recovery has been one thing I've been trying to like really focus. Am I doing enough volume? Am I doing enough sets? Am I doing enough reps? You constantly, I know people in here play that back in their head every single day.
Yeah.
Am I doing enough sets? Am I doing enough reps? Is this the right split? Is this split going to work? Is this that? Get a program and just follow it. You'll assess your results later.
Yeah. 10 years in, are you like still getting super sore when you have a good intense workout?
When I'm doing John's workouts, yes, 100%.
100%.
100%.
Yeah.
When I'm doing John's workouts, 150% of the time.
They're tough workouts.
They're ridiculous.
Yeah.
There's no way you're not getting sore for them. I have friends that are running his program, and they're like, and his famous like Bulgarian drops to the death. One kid's like, he texts me, one of my best friends, and he's like, got Bulgarian drops to the death today. He's like, I've been sitting here for 20 minutes thinking about it. And then you do one leg, and you're like, now I gotta wait like 10 minutes to do this other leg.
Yeah.
Like that's just how his programs are. It's fun. It's having fun in the gym.
Yeah.
I can't.
Yeah.
I don't know how some high school kids go in the gym. I don't know how I was this kid. I used to spend my entire workout for chest day. It was flat bench, incline, decline. Then went to dumbbells, flat bench, incline, decline.
Oh my God.
Then 2 flies, and then maybe dips or push-ups. And I was like, I'm gonna do abs now, and then go sit in the sauna. And I'll be there like 2.5 hours, and I was like, I wake up the next day, can't even feel my chest, and I'm like, am I really recovering from this? Because my bench press has been 315 for about like 2 years now, and
something's not right there. Yeah, I feel you. That's just young, excited kids.
We all go through it.
100%. Talking about John a little bit, like I know you said you had reached out to him in the beginning and you had a connection to some degree.
We spoke on through DM. I actually he did the block. It's called the Natural Body Block Party, which is like one of the biggest supplement events in every year. Okay. And it was in Queens, in my hometown, 5 minutes away. And I stopped in one day to just see everybody. I said hi to everybody. Didn't take pictures with anybody. Just like went in there, bought some stuff. I was actually going there to buy supplements. Saw him there. I was like, oh my God, it's John. That's the guy from all the videos I see. And he had a crazy line. I was just like looking around. And that was when I actually reached out to him like a while after that. And when I wanted to reach out and start becoming an influencer, I was first with one brand that reached out to me and was like, oh, do you want to be an ambassador? And I was like, oh, this is a great way to get my foot in the door. They're like, we'll send you product and you have a code, whatever. And they did the whole spiel. And then I was like, I don't like this company supplements. Like, I don't even want to like represent them. I don't want to wear their clothes out in public. I don't really want to do that. And then I was
Mm-hmm.
like, let me apply for another program. And I'm like, oh, maybe they actually let anybody in these things.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I started realizing. And I was like, if I'm gonna work my way up in a company, let me pick a company that I actually like, and I use
Mm-hmm.
John's programs and I use John's tips. Let me support somebody like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I signed up for Granite, and that's actually the first DM we sent to each other. I was like, hey, John, I just reached out. I applied for your ambassador program, whatever. And he was like, and he said, oh, you're on board. And then the next year after he passed, I went and worked the booth for at that block party.
Oh wow.
Yes, so I actually ran the booth with John's best friend Paul, who owns a supplement company, like one of his best friends, and the old athlete manager for Granite. And we worked it, and I was like, "This is awesome!" Everybody that came over had a John story of how he impacted their life, and we had a nice big banner of him behind. And then the next year, I worked the event again, and it was like, and I was going to help out at all these East Coast events at the supplement stores, and I was just like, yo, everybody loves this guy. He is the most loved person in the fitness industry. And you look at any like TikTok, it's like, who is somebody nobody ever hates in the fitness industry? He's always one of the top
Mm-hmm.
comments. You'll always see it.
Yeah.
That like being able to represent him as like I tried to like do everything like clean cut and be nice to everyone, and that was just he just like set everybody up and for a mentorship. And I saw that one day I saw him, he was smiling, he's shaking hands with everybody, and
Mm-hmm.
I know he got to the last person in that line.
Oh yeah.
I wasn't staying there, but I know he stayed at the end of the day.
Yeah.
The day we did that supplement thing, I was there. We started working at like 8 o'clock in the morning. We were there till like 9 o'clock at night.
Yep.
We stayed there until the last person went, even if they weren't coming up to our booth.
Mm-hmm.
We stayed there. We talked to people, and it was fun. That was probably one of the most fun times. When I think about my fitness career, those are some of the most fun times. It's
Yeah.
working those events and
Mm-hmm.
seeing some all these supplement companies and the people behind them and how it is. And I just try to represent John's company. My kids every day, they see me wearing some type of Granite hoodie when we're outside and stuff. They're always asking questions, and he's just trying to live on his legacy,
Yeah.
you know.
I love that. So I guess the last question is, tell me about the future. What does it look like? You are gaining size right now and hoping to compete in the future, or like what's the
Yeah.
goal?
So the plan right now is gain as much size as possible. Obviously, that's always the plan.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll hit the roadblocks on the way and whatever it is. And I'm actually thinking about switching it up and actually competing in the winter time of next year. So like I would start prep next January and then maybe compete around actually like March. Like
Okay.
so about a year from now, I'd probably be back on stage. I might, and if I'm still growing and taking time, I'll do the summer show. Cause I'm off in the summers. Like I said, I'm a teacher. It's so easy to do prep in the summer because my whole day is off.
Mm-hmm.
But I kind of like the process of doing it in the wintertime and just kind of living that day to day with work and everything, and just seeing how it goes. So the plan is I'll hop back on stage. We'll still stay in the national federations because my goal is obviously that everybody says, "Oh, my goal is to get a pro card." I'm close. I want to eventually get it.
Yeah.
And who knows what the future has in store after that, because
Mm-hmm.
I love this game. I really want to take it to the fullest potential, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting a little older, but the health risks that came with going the one route is too high right now for me personally. I can't speak about how it's going to be in the future.
Yeah.
But right now I'm going to stay on course. Hopefully I can pick some shows that I can be competitive
Mm-hmm.
at. I'm definitely going to be looking to stay with one of those coaches, either it may be Andrew or Justin or Chris, one of those guys, to reach out and help me out so we keep it in the Granite family here,
Mm-hmm.
because I feel like they actually take pride in that. And that's really what the plan is. And we're hoping to bring a package. I don't know what division it's going to be yet. I might do all three again, and we'll see.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Well, I'll be rooting for you. That's for sure.
Yeah,
And excited to see it.
It takes time. I wish I could compete every season, but it's not gonna. Stepping on stage with the same physique is not what I really want to do. I really want to see big changes. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. No, I respect it. I definitely huge believer in taking as much off time as needed to get the actual size. Because if you just go show to show to show to show, you're just, if anything, you're going to be getting smaller, like doing that much dieting and stuff.
Yep.
So,
Yeah. that's the main thing. Even if it's 1 pound, it might be 3 pounds, it might be 5 pounds of muscle. I don't know what it's going to be.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to try to maximize things. Like I said, I'm going to try to just check those boxes every day
Mm-hmm.
and check as many boxes as you can for the week. Just
Mm-hmm.
live day by day, week by week. Don't look so far in the future. And even though I'm saying, oh, I got to compete, I got to be this size by next January, no, just check off this week. Let's check off next. Oh, we put a pretty good month together. Let's check our size. We put another good month together because you're not going to see it day to day.
Yeah.
As actually, you're not. You might add 5 pounds on your bench press or 5 pounds on your squat in 4 weeks, 3 weeks at some points. Like you got to just track your progress on the scale and by pictures.
Yeah.
Honestly, and how you feel. That's what I'm trying to do for this next year. About a year away from competing, so it's time to dial it in.
Awesome.
Hopefully,
awesome.
I'm not really as skinny as I am on stage. That's the main thing. Being tall and skinny, it's not fun. Being 180 pounds at 185 pounds at 6'2" is not ideal for me. Like my goal in my mind is to be 230 pounds lean, but like that's gonna require me going down another road.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, 100%. It's a big jump.
Yeah,
but
a long career. That's what's so fun about this game. It's a long time. I got in pretty early, and we'll see how far it goes.
Yeah, and it'd be awesome to be that 50-year-old guy in the gym that's still killing it, being consistent with
The
it.
guy
The
guy that beat me in the open, I thought I had the open in a bag. And the guy that beat me was also in Masters. He was one of 3 competitors in Masters or whatever. He was like 48 years old, and you can see his heartbeat through his chest. It was the leanest I've ever seen a human in my friends and family in the stage. They were like, "You were 3 times his size. Why did you not win?" I was like, "You could see that guy's heartbeat. That was the leanest human being in the world, and he had a decent amount of size on him, but he was the leanest human being in the world." And I don't want it to be a conditioning contest, but that is,
you gotta give it to him.
He's in his late 40s looking like that. It's motivating.
Yeah, absolutely. I love to see it.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
We'll see. That's the plan. I want to be a jack dad. That's it.
There you go.
My kids to be like, oh, this is my dad. He's monstrous. And
yeah, there you go. That's the ultimate flex there. Yeah, awesome. Well, listen, it was good catching up. I appreciate your time. I appreciate you sharing with us. Awesome. And we'll definitely check in, I think closer to your show or deeper in the bulk or whatever. But yeah, no, I appreciate you doing this.
We need to get more content out like this for the company. It's a great thing to help us out.
Absolutely. And we will. Awesome. Well, I appreciate your time, Chris, and we'll catch up next time.
All right. Take it easy.
Later.